A new helpline to support carers and patients who are terminally ill has been launched in Suffolk. The 24-hour service is being set up by St Elizabeth Hospice and is the first of its kind in the region.
Yeah, of course, I can do that for you.
It's called One Call, and the service gives advice 24 hours a day to those providing palliative care. Launching today, the helpline will give free expert help to anyone who needs support.
The One Call service has been designed to allow anybody in Suffolk, especially the east of Suffolk, the chance to be able to ring and ask questions about palliative and end-of-life care without having to go through another agency. It's just one number to contact us.
Those caring for a terminally ill relative who have chosen not to go into a hospice often need advice on dosage for pain relief or new symptoms. The calls are answered by senior nurses 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
It's really quite scary to be in your own, maybe at home with somebody who is ill, who's maybe near the end of life, and you might have what seems a really silly question and you don't want to ring, say, the GP on call. But if somebody could just answer that very basic question for you, it would make you feel much more comfortable.
It's hoped the helpline will provide a better quality of life to those in need and offer them comfort and reassurance. Felicity Simper, BBC Look East.
Time now to return to our coverage of the spending cuts this region is facing. Let's go back to Stuart, who's in Corby.
Welcome back to Corby. Just a reminder that tomorrow night on BBC One at 10:35 there's a special programme called the Look East Debate, which is focusing on the spending cuts. Now, one of the people that they've been speaking to is Jackie Smith, who lives in Northamptonshire. She has MS and she's had a fall recently and needs a carer. And she's worried that under the cuts, that may go.
I feel that by being in my own home, I'm able to work from home. And so therefore, I am still giving back to the society by paying my way, by paying national insurance, by paying my taxes.
Well, late this afternoon, I spoke to the local MP, Louise Bagshawe, who's a Conservative, and I asked her what she would say to people like Jackie Smith.
I think the government's very clear that we've got to get people off welfare and into work, and if there are individual cases where people need assistance to get into the workforce, then help is going to be targeted at them. Indeed, I think you can say that the Welfare to Work programme that's being brought in by Ian Duncan-Smith is exactly targeted at this kind of case, at people who genuinely need help to get into the workforce. And all of those cases will be looked at, but that doesn't mean there will be no cuts anywhere. There have to be cuts because of the situation we were left in by the previous government.
As you know, we're here in Corby, and I've been speaking to local councillors and local officials, and they say to me they understand that cuts need to be made, but why do you need to turn off the tap so quickly?
I'll tell you exactly why we need to turn off the tap so quickly. We have one of the highest deficits in the Western world, and out of every £4 the government spends, one of them is spent on servicing our debt relief. Now, that's more than our entire national budget for schools. It's more than our entire national budget for hospitals. That is the level of the crisis we face. The number one issue I heard on the doorsteps of Corby and East Northamptonshire was, how are you going to tackle this financial crisis? It's all very well to say, why are you moving so quickly? We're moving so quickly because we have been left with no choice. And I think people in Corby and East Northamptonshire and across the region understand that.
And what do you say to those people who live in Corby who may, as a result of the cuts, lose their jobs?
I say that I hope that we will be able to find them new and better jobs in short order, and getting people into work, reducing unemployment is one of the key benchmarks that this government will be judged on when we come up for re-election in a few years. That's absolutely a key pledge, and it's something that we must do. I would rather see getting people jobs as a top priority than investing in new shiny buildings, as much as the ones we've got have been good for the town. It's time to move on, and it's time to focus on people, and it's time to focus on jobs.
You say it's time to focus on people, but if you are losing your job, that is not the kind of focus that you want.
Well, before the general election, Northamptonshire as a county and Corby as a whole, jobs were being lost at a rate of knots, and jobs are lost in a recession. Jobs are lost overall when the economy is poor. If you want to fix anything, you have to start with the economic basics. We actually saw the coalition's ratings and the Chancellor's ratings rise as a result of a budget that was presenting cuts where they might very logically have been expected to fall, and that is because people understand that fixing the economic situation ultimately is what fixes unemployment, fixes joblessness, gets people into work and gets the economy moving again, and that's what we desperately need.
Louise Bagshawe, thank you very much.
Thank you, Stuart.
Well, I'm sure we'll be hearing much more about the cuts over the coming months, and don't forget the Lookies debate is tomorrow night on BBC One at 10:35. But for now, from Corby, back to the studio.
Thanks, Stuart. Winston Churchill called them the few. They were the pilots who won the Battle of Britain 70 years ago. Tom Neal was one of them. He flew Hurricanes from North Weald in Essex. He's now 90 and lives in Norfolk. Mike Liggins has been to meet him.
What General Weygand has called the Battle of France is over. The Battle of Britain is about to begin.
They were young men in 1940. Tom Neal was 19. He flew Spitfires briefly, then Hurricanes as a member of 249 Squadron at North Weald.
People are often ask me, well, you're not frightened. You're not frightened. The time for apprehension comes when you're sitting on the ground and information comes by telephone from the controller at sector who can see on the radar. And he reports, there are 20 bombers, 40 bombers, 60 bombers, 100 bombers, 150 bombers, 200 fighters. And you think, crikey, they're all coming my way.
Tom flew 141 times during the battle. He still has his logbook, which shows 13 enemy aircraft shot down.
Well, first of all, you only had 14.7, just under 15 seconds, ammunition. And the old question is, what about those dogfights? There weren't any dogfights. You arrived as quick as you can. You rushed up the backside of the enemy. You fired your guns and got out of it. Otherwise, you'd be hit from behind by enemy fighters that had attacking you. Because we slept between flights. Sometimes we were having 4 interceptions, 5 interceptions a day. And this is a characteristic which has never left me even to this day. I can sleep at the drop of a hat. Now, I can probably sleep whilst you're talking at me.
Many of Tom's friends were killed or injured in the battle. All of them are remembered in a book, Gun Button to Fire. Tom was awarded the DFC, the Distinguished Flying Cross.
I was one of those people when you climbed above the cloud and you didn't have to look around. You knew what was going on around you. And, of course, I was absurdly lucky. And, of course, my mother will say, the chap up there had something to do with it.
But if the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was their finest hour.
And you can hear more of Tom Neal's extraordinary story on tomorrow's Look East. Let's get the weather now with Jim.
Thanks, Susie. Well, it's been a dull day today. It is going to be much, much brighter tomorrow. The reason for today's cloud and dull weather is this area of low pressure just off the east coast. It's not moving very quickly, but it will move just far enough away by tomorrow. You can see how much cloud's involved, but somewhat brighter weather over the western fringe of the region. And in that brighter weather, it has become warm enough to set off 1 or 2 quite heavy showers during the course of the afternoon. And you'll see them forming here just to the north of London over Hertfordshire, moving into Essex. 1 or 2 rumbles of thunder from those, but they're beginning to die away now the temperatures are dropping. So for the rest of the night, I think we're just going to see quite a bit of cloud for a time, but then the showery weather just moving away to the east. Most places dry by the morning, and many central and western parts of the region will have clear skies. So it is going to be a bit cooler there, the odd mist patch, 10 or 11 Celsius, temperatures holding higher farther to the east, up to about 13 Celsius for the lowest on the Norfolk coast. As for the chart tomorrow, low still nearby, but just that little bit further away, so it looks like we have a better day. We should all have some sunny spells coming through, the odd shower around, and I think in the afternoon, 1 or 2 of those showers from Buckinghamshire up through Northamptonshire and into the fens of Cambridgeshire, they could just be a bit on the sharp side right at the end of the afternoon. But otherwise, not too bad a day, and certainly the temperature's better, up to 20 or even 21 Celsius down in Essex and East Suffolk, so quite pleasant temperatures, at least up to average, if not a little bit above. Friday, that's going to be a mainly dry day, but it is going to turn cloudier as this front gets closer to us. The front arrives Friday night and Saturday. That will mean a spell of rain. And then this area of high pressure behind me, that's going to dominate the weather through Sunday and the early part of next week. So things do improve then. And here you can see Thursday, give or take the odd shower, not a bad day. Then on Friday, cloudy weather, mainly dry until the evening, and then some rain on Saturday, clearing away late in the day. Sunday and Monday looks much, much better. Should be drier with some sunny spells. And I think the temperatures overnight holding up pretty well to begin with. The lowest value I can find about 9 Celsius, 48 Fahrenheit. Susie.
Thank you very much, Jim. That's all from us. Have a very good evening, won't you? Goodbye.